I can't see Mason's phone, but you can see this crew of amazing hosts. Welcome to F and Movie Podcast!
We are fireworks.
Yep. We are here at the end of the year. This is the end of 2019. It's the one video we will date for the sakes of intents and purposes on this. And we're going to look back on our whole year up until this point. We've got a bunch of categories to talk about, a bunch of stats to look into, and we're going to break it all down. But who's here with you, Dylan? Well, here with me, Dylan, is we've got Bryce, Mason, and Nathan all at the table. Same great faces, same great podcast, same different new studio, everybody.
Yes.
This is a brand new studio.
Not the same.
It's from the last time we got a new studio. The lighting is much better. So guys, let's get into our categories here. We have a long list of categories. Stay tuned with that. Don't worry. Whenever we're editing this down the road, there'll be a little caption that says whatever we're talking about right now.
Okay.
Future editing proof.
Couple of things to start with. For everybody here, kids would mention it. You can mention if you had a tie with something, but you have to pick one, and only one discussion will take place based on whatever that is. Mm-hmm. Nothing's going to be talked about your second or whatever it was. You can mention it, but that's it.
Well, this was a close second, but I went this way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Also, I'm sure audiences know, we have our phones out. We're being very rude dudes today. This is just, we kept our lists on them and stuff, so ignore those. We're not going to be texting or like talking to your mom or anything like that. Yeah. So.
And lastly, I'm sure with all of our viewers, you all know, we do have a lot of movies that we have filmed, but we did not film every single one of them. There was a period where we were talking about them just in person. Yeah. We apologize. We will be talking about those movies for these categories as well.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. Some of them will bleed in.
So really? You all pick some of those?
Absolutely.
I didn't.
Some of the earlier ones definitely came out.
I am so worried about your list then.
Yay!
It's going to be all in like the last 6 weeks.
Right. So for the record, if you're curious on one of these movies we mentioned or talk about, you're like, oh, I love that movie. I'd love for you guys to retouch on that. Make sure to hit the comments below and just say, hey, if you guys want to touch back on that again and say, I wish we'd got to see that one recorded. Yeah. Make sure to shout us out because that's one we don't mind to revisit if it's a really interesting one.
We might even rewatch it and then do the whole thing
again
anyway.
Whole live reaction video stuff.
I cannot promise that.
Always putting up that good content.
All right, let's start discussion. We need to get on the road.
Don't worry, Price. I'm a host here. I was getting us there.
You're taking this path that's going.
Well, see now,
loosey goosey.
Go ahead. Burn our time, Price. It's not like you were here to.
So you want me to start? You want me to read?
No.
Oh, okay.
So favorite movie that wasn't yours.
Yes.
This is a big exclamation point. Big little asterisk there. Favorite movie from our whole run of 2019 that was not ours. Nathan, lead the way.
So of the movies that were picked that I did not pick, my favorite by far was Captain Fantastic.
You did love that one.
Yeah,
you talked about
that movie. That movie was amazing. Some would say it was fantastic.
Give this man a rant.
Yeah. I don't really feel like I need to elaborate on it too much. It's one of the ones that we actually did, have a video on. So I speak about it quite a bit in that. So that one was my favorite though.
Yeah.
Of the ones that I didn't pick. Yeah. It's probably close to my favorite. Period.
Jeez.
Wow.
All right.
I mean, Your Name, of course, is I think
up there.
We're going to see with everybody is really up there too, though.
It's possible. Bryce.
Speaking of, this will be honestly the only time I do this during this whole thing. But what do you all think mine is?
Foxcatcher.
No, that was his pick.
That's right.
That I didn't pick. This will be the one time I do.
I would say Your Name.
No, was Your Name your pick or was
that was Mason's?
Oh, yeah, it's Your Name.
Yeah, it's definitely Your Name. They know that. I mean, I've downloaded their songs for Rock Band. I've shown it to a bunch of people. Like, ever since we watched it back in like April or something like that, I've watched it the one time by myself. I watched it again by myself. I watched it with my ex, that's part of the reason she is now an ex.
Fan of the show.
Shout out to you. You know who you are.
Yeah. And I watched it just last week with a friend of mine, and he loved it. He said he was going to buy it. Loved it. I love everything about the movie. It's made my top 100 Spotify list of like songs that I've listened to. Mm-hmm. I love everything about it. Going to see Weathering with You next month with Mason in theaters. The director's next movie. So love this movie. That's all I need to say about it.
Yeah, Your Name's a pretty good movie. It's my favorite movie also.
Is it really?
Oh, you picked it too?
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that.
Your Name's really good.
Off key, you really You agreed with him last time on his last video too.
Oh man, I'm really changing the mold.
Yeah, agree with me.
Yikes.
I have all the right opinions.
Whatever.
These are very different people when it comes to movies most of the time, and they have been agreeing on a lot lately. Like
It's a dangerous game
I
when
like
me and
it.
Bryce are lining up. I don't know. I must be
Spice
drinking
things
more.
up.
I don't know what we're doing. Yeah, for a lot of the same reasons Bryce mentioned. That movie's just great. It nails the tone perfectly. It's a beautiful animation. It is very, very high up there for me. I don't want to you can watch the movie for all the praises why, but Your Name is going to clutch it out for me for my favorite non-pick.
I'm surprised you didn't pick V for Vendetta.
I love that movie, and it could be rated higher, but it's also a movie I've seen plenty of times beforehand. So
Okay.
Your Name being a brand new movie coming in for me was like
this year.
and I've been wanting to watch it for years, but never sat down to finally watch it. So yeah.
And another side note to mention: all three of these movies have been Masons.
Except for this one that I'm
He
about
picked
to
all of
say.
these.
That'll tie in here a little bit later in the episode. Don't worry.
I think I'm gonna have some bad ones too.
Oh, yeah.
So my pick that was not my own. My favorite movie was probably Warrior. Warrior was solid.
That's a good
Yeah.
one.
That movie is, if you like sports movies, it's got it all. I think it's got a lot of drama in it.
If you don't like
a lot of
sports
action.
movies,
Yeah, so it's got some emotion. Honorable mention was Mad Max. I was looking back at my scores and I kind of forgot how highly I rated that movie. I was like, I really did like it. So Warrior is my pick. We need to have like little dominoes or something.
I know,
like
just-
tallies.
can we have a little who's MVP
Oh,
of like the whole thing?
Who's doing the best?
Whoever's video editing this in the future, one of these people that is not me, put a little point dinger right there, I guess, along the way. Okay, so let's go on to the next category, guys. What was the most surprising movie for you?
Okay, I'll go first on this. We can just keep going around the table like that.
Sure.
Most surprising, I actually put Interview with a Vampire. Not because I thought it was going to suck and I was going to enjoy it. I thought I was going to enjoy it, and I did not like this movie.
Wah, 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 wah.
I don't know if you look back at my score. It was like
Do I get a point for that?
Yeah. Point.
It was like a 3 or like 3.5. I just don't understand.
We are 4 minutes into this video and he's already cutting you down.
Because the beginning of the movie I liked so much. Like I liked Tom Cruise. I loved Tom Cruise in it. And then like halfway through the movie, it cuts him out. It changes the tone. It changes everything. And I'm like, I did not sign up for this. I love this part, and I detest this second part of the movie.
Yeah.
And that was definitely my most surprising. I actually almost because exclusively of how I felt during the movie, rather than my assumptions beforehand. Because I didn't really have many assumptions beforehand. The big names kind of drew me in, and then when the movie started, I was like, I love it. End of the movie, I hate it.
I feel like I do a pretty good job of picking movies that have big names that will surprise you with how disappointing they do.
Like Repo and
Yeah.
Paris Hilton, yeah.
Oh, no, I mean like Excalibur and
yeah.
Stewart.
That's-
Oh,
That's-
yeah.
Look at
Liam
Wilson.
Neeson, yeah. God, I did have an all-star cast all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Captain.
All right. Mine's also going to be a Nathan pick, actually. Honorable mention interview. It was tiptoeing on that one for a minute because I thought it was going to be an okay one. And I really enjoyed that one. But a movie that totally surprised me for the opposite reasoning of Price that I thought was going to suck and I actually really enjoyed, it's Repo the Genetic Opera. Yes! Oh, man. I
Terrible movie.
I love that soundtrack.
Terrible.
It is
a terrible soundtrack.
It is the perfect mix
awesome.
of rock opera cheesy corniness, but it just nails it and knows exactly what it is. I had a really fun time with Genetic Opera. I did not think I was going to. Reba Genetic Opera all the way for this one.
Yeah, so my favorite movie, the exact same thing, Repo.
Yeah!
Here's what we have
What
to
is
remember.
wrong with you?
Here's what we have to remember. Nathan had picked Lawnmower Man, Scanner Darkly. I can't remember. He had picked Interview with the Vampire, I think.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these movies were very shaky, very like, oh, God, this is kind of good. This is kind of. So by the time he picked Repo, I went home, turned it on. I think Amazon Prime or something because that was the only place it was on, and I was expecting it to be utter trash. Like, but
You were right. Your
But-
assumption was
but
right.
about 15 minutes into it, I was hooked. My phone, I don't think I picked it up one time. I was just fixed on it. I don't know why. The music was so good.
So good.
So good. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Honorable mention was Penguin Highway and Fifth Element. I did not think I'd like either of those two, but I like
So for me, the biggest surprise was actually Spirited Away.
Mm.
And the reason it was a surprise for me is before that point, like that was the first animated anime movie that had been in the rotation.
Right.
And I, for a very long time, have always had a poor opinion of animes and have never really cared much for them at all. That was the first one that actually opened my eyes to the fact that they can be good.
Right.
And then we just started rolling through several of them. Like we were kind of on a roll with those, and every one of them was, well, Penguin Highway I wouldn't say was like getting better and better, but Spirited Away was amazing.
Yeah.
Penguin Highway was still pretty good. And then Your Name came, and it's like, okay, well, all right, animes can be good.
Yeah.
They can be genuinely good, and that was a big surprise for me.
Yeah.
Nice.
Solid picks all around on that one. Next category we're going into is favorite song. I guess we're starting on me this time around. We're just hopping around, moving.
And I think we're going to get this a lot in this discussion too. We're going to have a lot of differing opinions on like what favorite song is, because you could say like my favorite song, like I love this song, and I just really like this song. It didn't really make context for the movie, but I love that song, like Snowden or whatever. Like I love that song, or it also could be like this song really fit thematically with the movie, and like what went with it was really good. So I'm interested to hear what everybody's got on this one.
So, hands down, this I didn't even have to think twice on this one. Sweet Child of Mine.
Whoa, okay.
By Captain Fantastic.
I thought it was going to be Silent Hill.
Really good one.
I thought it was going to be one of the songs from Silent Hill.
Oh man, I forgot about that. I can't change my answer.
What?
That one is arguably one of my favorite songs. It's breaking my Spotify playlist at times, and this one isn't because it's not on Spotify, but it would be pretty high up there. Here's the big difference. The song for Silent Hill does a good job for the world. This one just encapsulates the scene and outro for the movie. I think this song does more for this movie than Silent Hill does for the world part on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, Silent Hill honorable mention because I love it. But yeah, Captain Fantastic as it wraps and it just has that little wrap up scene with the mom funeral and doing all that. Oh, that is a great scene.
Literally the exact same answer for me.
Yeah,
Captain Fantastic.
You're picking the wrong version.
It was between those two. What is that piano Silent Hill song?
Oh, Promise Reprise.
Yeah, Reprise. Like that one almost wins, but like I don't know. I'm kind of with you. It actually comes on my Zune all the time, the Captain Fantastic version, and I never skip it. I probably just haven't looked hard enough for the piano one, but I have to go with that. It's definitely Captain America or Captain Fantastic.
Captain America.
Captain America.
Captain America.
We know you're watching.
Are we gonna get the chat trick?
He's doing this laugh right here. It's
either that or
it
Repo.
has to be that.
It's so. I definitely thought about this one, and it's in consideration just for the fact that it is so great, and it is one of the most surprisingly favorite movies that I had this year.
Sure.
A couple of other ones that I would mention would be The Greatest Show from The Greatest Showman.
Oh,
I really like that
song
song quite a bit.
Yeah.
I feel like picking a song and picking like a musical is kind of like that's a little easy to make that kind of pick, because you can also, with Repo, the Zydrate Anatomy song was a really solid song. But also weirdly, in Snatch, do y'all remember the scene with the dogs chasing after the rabbit?
Yeah.
I remember that scene.
I like that song a lot from it. It was pretty much gonna be my number one pick, but I can't not pick Captain Fantastic.
This man.
It's the best version of that
It's
song.
so good.
Yeah.
Sorry, Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
Step Brothers did it better.
Okay.
You got Step Brothers, you got Guns N' Roses version, you got Captain Fantastic.
Go ahead and give us your
Price.
anime song.
Yeah.
Oh, you knew it's what it was going to be. You already know what movie it's going to be.
Zen
from.
Zen?
I've already said it. It was a really tough between Zen Zen, the first song, which is Dream Lantern, the one that opens the movie. But the one I'm going with is Sparkle, actually. It's the song, I don't know if you all will remember if you heard it, but it's the song that's playing the whole like kind of scene where the comet's fixing to come down, and she's running around the town. And
Is that really a
Trying
high-paced
to
song?
alert
That's
the-
like,
no, it starts out really, really slow.
Okay.
It starts out really slow, and then it like crescendos with and then like it completely crescendos. It has like this kind of operatic kind of time, and that's when the comet's coming down, and then the comet like blows up, and then it fades away to the end part of the song. That's like really slow, and I listen
I need
to
to
it
watch
all
that
the
movie
time.
again. I really do.
Yeah.
It's like a 9 or 10 minute song, and I love it from top to bottom.
yeah.
Dream Lantern was going to be the one I was going to pick over Zen Zen, because Dream Lantern really weaves into the beginning really well. One of my favorite YouTubers, Mother's Basement, does a whole analysis of the OP of the movie, which is Dream Lantern, and how it weaves into the beginning, like it kind of fades in, and then Dream Lantern starts playing, and it like shows like how they meet and stuff like that. I was gonna pick that one, but I'm going with Sparkle. Love that one.
I would meet you halfway on Zin Zin. I thought Zin Zin was gonna be your pick. He
Yeah,
has it on Rock Band.
I've sung it a couple of times.
He sung it.
Unfortunately,
It was
The
amazing.
Japanese version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As is tradition.
Yes.
All right. Well, favorite song out of the way. Let's get into favorite scene.
Is that with me?
That's your
That's
favorite
you,
scene.
Mason.
Starting with.
All right. So whenever we were coming up with all these categories, as soon as I said favorite scene, it was automatic. Remember me when when Robert Pattinson is in the boardroom with the father?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
I remember I ripped you apart during the review for that too.
You
I was
didn't
like,
just
this
rip me
makes
apart.
no sense.
I mean, I love
I think
So
you ripped us
dumb.
apart.
Oh man.
It was just so gripping. I feel like if you watch that movie, even if you, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, even if you don't have high opinions on that whole movie, that part should kind of get you teeter-tottered a little bit. It should at least shake you.
It is a pretty powerful moment.
Yeah, so
I disagree.
an honorable mention was my movie Raw at the very end.
Oh.
Whenever
When the credits
father,
roll?
No, when the
the
father,
reveal of the father.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty big reveal.
If it
because
was like-
she's horrified. She's
Oh,
just
yeah.
like,
If it was favorite shot, I could see that.
Yeah.
Because the scene itself isn't like that amazing, but that shot of like his skin,
Oh,
like
yeah.
well, it needs that dialogue, though,
Golly.
more so monologue,
Yeah.
because it's like it's slowly giving you like the pieces of this puzzle. Yeah, it was your mom, then it was your sister. I'm sorry
Like,
this happened to you,
I'm
but
sick to my stomach just thinking about it.
yeah.
Raw will be coming up later. I can promise you
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Let's go.
It
Oh,
definitely
yeah.
will.
Oh,
yeah.
likely.
100%.
So for me, favorite scene I'm gonna go with. There's Mad Max has a lot of scenes that I think are amazing. But as soon as we mentioned that, I had something that popped in my head immediately too, and that is from A Scanner Darkly, The Sins of Freck.
Oh,
It's
God.
a very strange and interesting
Yes, it
moment
is.
where this guy has decided that he's going to kill himself, and he's laying in bed, and he's like tripping out of his mind, just kind of a bit of a lunatic, and this multi-eyed, yellow-skinned being just appears with this huge scroll, and it's just like, I'm now going to read The Sins of Freck, and just starts going down the list of everything that he'd ever done.
It's a pretty solid scene.
It is.
hilarious.
For some reason, it's not like grabbing me. I can't remember that part.
Oh man, I remember that pretty distinct. Yeah, because it's just changing every time it switches to something
Yeah.
else.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll
Very
need to pull
nice.
it back up.
Yeah, I
well,
could watch just the
yeah.
scene. I'll be
Yeah,
alright.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I had 3 scenes that I was thinking of. 2 of them actually come from Snatch.
Okay.
One of them is the meet where like everything crashes together.
Yeah.
No, that
I
Yeah.
love
It's
that
such a
scene so
great
much.
scene.
Like how everything comes together in this
Yeah.
one moment. All these different connections like just literally come to a head
Right.
in every way possible.
This beautiful car wreck of a scene. Yeah.
And then my other one that I was thinking about picking was also in Snatch, the one where he's
knew
shooting the
it.
guy in the hallway. I was like,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
shooting the shit, Gary. And he's like,
Yeah.
shoots him again. But number 1 is going to be, you probably didn't expect it, it's going to be Foxcatcher. I'm telling you, the
Oh.
scene where Steve Carell shoots Mark Ruffalo, I still remember watching that. Like for the first time, and like how taken aback I was, but like I remember like where I was when I read that like Murtaugh was Aragorn's brother and eldest. I remember where I was when Snape killed Dumbledore. This like I do remember like everything.
You're
about
probably
this.
sitting right back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Wow.
because I
3 months ago.
Yeah.
just because like it was so taken aback, like nothing like really kind of violent like that happened in the movie. Nothing like too out of the ordinary had happened, and then that happens, and
Yeah.
it keeps the tone of the movie, but like it's just that sudden outburst of violence that really stands out.
It was shocking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
favorite scene definitely.
Oh, God. Honorable mentions before I get to my scene.
Dylan's like, oh god,
Yeah.
let me clean myself off.
Watch your scene on that one. Dad scene in the boardroom reminded me of thinking of this scene. This was an honorable mention. It was almost tied, but I edged it to my winner. Remember me, the plane the plane about to be hitting it, and the cut on that
Pan
one.
out.
Yeah, the pan out for
The
that
pan
one.
out of the tower.
Yeah, pan out that
that was
tower.
such a surprise scene.
Right.
Like, if you have been lucky enough to not been spoiled on that,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm so
that
sorry.
moment-
Same
Oh
here.
man.
Don't watch it.
Whoops. But yeah, no, that part made that whole movie.
And
for
that's
me.
where it should have ended.
Yeah.
Right there
Yeah, I agree.
is
I agree.
where it should have ended.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, it's close, but I have to give it, and this is probably recency bias, but it really just defines the tone of the movie so very well, is Inglourious Bastards, the opening scene with the Nazi coming and talking to the farmer.
Good grief.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The
Fries.
yeah, that one. It's so good.
I can't believe I didn't pick
It's such a length. It's a very long scene. It's pretty much a mini movie in itself. But
Yeah, you just picked a chapter.
I know.
Yeah, you
I
just picked like a whole.
Welcome to
big
the
section.
Tarantino cheat sheet of scenes. You get a small movie for your scenes.
You know,
for
cheat code.
Yeah,
Right.
his perfect little discussion going into it, how it wraps. It is its own little movie, but it sets up the tone and the villainy part part throughout the whole rest of the movie.
And how subtle it is too.
Yeah.
Like everything about it, like, oh man.
Yeah,
You're
no.
right, it's amazing.
Oh, it's a great scene. That's my favorite scene out of a very, very good movie. But
Good choice.
Yeah.
that's kind of our favorites and all that for the 2019 category. We're going to take not necessarily a small break, but we're going to transition that into some other little statistic fun facts for the 2019 recap. Nathan, lead the way.
Well, so we have a bit of a spreadsheet that we've been keeping track of everybody's scores on, and I've compiled it into a few interesting statistics. What our average score is, what the average that our movie picks get from the group, and also if we want to get into it, I broke down what we tend to rate each other's movies, and that could be
That's going to be an interesting, fun
too.
talk.
Yeah, just pick out stuff that like you think is.
Yeah.
So I guess we can start with just kind of where we tend to average our scores
Sure.
overall. So Mason and Dylan
Mhm.
are pretty much dead even with each other.
Not
you
surprising.
two both tend to give things a little bit above a 7.
Mhm.
So 7.2 is the average. I'm a little bit lower than that. I usually end up about a 7 overall over these past 45 movies that we've
Mhm.
done. And Price goes a little bit lower on it. He's
Yeah.
Price dips pretty hard.
That number shocks the hell out of me, actually. It
Really?
seems a
That
little
it's that
high.
I thought,
Yeah,
I thought it was high too.
Seems a
Yeah.
little high.
So his average is 6.25. So the lowest of us all, but none of us are really like hugely out of line with each
No,
other
no,
as far as
no.
where we've averaged over time.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
The next interesting thing would be how everybody has received our movie picks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, of course, Mason is
Yeah.
the most beloved out of the
If you
group.
can't tell
Is that
from
what that
all of
one
this so
is?
far.
Yeah,
cool.
that's
So Masons have tended to be 7.4s as far as what we've averaged in rating his movie choices.
I tried dragging that down a couple times.
Yeah.
as many times as he
And
can.
I think you did.
Yeah.
A little
Yeah,
bit more.
and Dylan is also done pretty well too. He's 7.18 is his average.
Mhm.
Then we get to Price, still pretty decent. You got 6.81.
That shocks me.
Yeah.
that one doesn't shock me.
I picked
as
some
much.
duds.
You've picked some duds, but you haven't, and it's always going to look at averages, so you got to think of some winners out there
averages
as
help
well.
out a lot.
And you haven't picked as many duds as I've.
I've tried to help make these numbers go up, and I'm doing everything I can. My shoulders are getting sore.
I throw a lot of misses. So mine is averaged at 6.5.
Woo!
So I mean, the thing is, and I feel like this would be another interesting thing to dig into is like your median average.
Right.
Like if you take off the
extremes, yeah.
because I've definitely like if you look through our scores for everything, there's been just a couple of movies that bombed super hard.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
hurts your
But
average overall.
On average, mine are about on par on
Yeah.
average.
Yeah.
6.5
actually.
isn't too bad.
I would say
No,
anywhere in
it's
the
not.
6.5 to 7.5 range tends to be a lot of your movies, give or take the bombs, and the bombs hit hard. But
The one final thing that I think is also interesting as far as like how we rate each other specifically is how we rate our own. So I think that's kind of
Yeah.
a fun thing.
Super
let's
fun.
see how the bias is for our movies on that one.
I'm pretty sure mine was
So-
real strong. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yours and mine are
here's what's
actually-
interesting. You two, Mason and Price, are exactly the same on how they rate their own movie choices.
We're selfish and we see highly of ourselves.
Yeah.
So
Our opinion's on
8.4.
right.
8.4 is where they have averaged their own movie choices.
Okay.
And for me, I have averaged at 7.5 for my own picks. and Dylan has averaged at a solid 8.
Yep, as the only fair and unbiased one. I hate my movies when I hate them, and I love my movies when I love them. These guys are just keep jacking up their
Nathan's is lower than yours.
His is lower, but yeah, his was on the stream. Nathan actually hates all the movies that he picks. Is
Yeah,
what he
I mean,
says.
I've picked movies that I myself hadn't watched,
Yeah.
and then realized, oh boy,
What have I done?
Yeah.
that was a terrible choice.
Yeah.
But I guess the last thing we could do too is pick out who picks the worst movies for each person.
Oh, for each person.
Yeah, so
I like this. This is a fun topic.
Easy.
for
Yeah.
Price, I picked the worst movies.
Unanimously.
Easy.
Price tends to give me a 4.6 on average, which is pretty bad.
Yeah.
That is rough.
Um,
That's not even like
with that.
a normal for you. Like
Nope.
that's below
Yeah.
the
That's
bar.
below normal.
so
I hate
next,
movies.
Mason. For Mason, Price has on average picked the worst, but I'm not too far
Yeah.
from him on that.
Yeah.
So
wow.
Mason tends to on average give Price a 6.68 or 6.7.
Yeah.
Next we've got we've got me, and Price is tends to pick the worst ones for me.
Yeah.
We secretly think they hate each other.
Yeah, we apparently we don't have the same taste.
I still don't remember. I still won't forget. I think it was our Tim and Eric discussion where like you were like, guys, don't be beating up on him so much. Like,
Yeah,
come on,
yeah,
like be
yeah.
easy. And
Also
they came to
Nathan.
his, and he gave him like a 3. He gave me
Yeah.
like a
Oh, yeah.
3.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you guys are really tearing into him with
Yeah,
that
we
review,
do.
and
Yeah.
I was just like I get it, it's fine. Like I tried to step back and be objective, but it didn't make me laugh.
Yeah.
So yeah, in any case, I average with Price a 5.8. And
Dang.
lastly, we've got Dylan. And
It's
for
Mason.
Dylan,
It has to be Mason.
the person that he has tended to pick the worst movies,
Oh, worst. Me.
is Price.
Yep.
Nah, not
Foxcatcher.
Foxcatcher dragged us down a lot.
I guarantee you that one just pulled the ship down into the ocean.
I'm sure it did a little bit.
Yeah.
So, and in that regard, it's a 6.3 has been the average.
That's a bad movie rating for me
That
too.
helped you out. I'm a 7.6 while you're an 8.
Yeah,
for
I know.
Yourself.
I think that that statistic says a lot too, because if you look at even just the overall I guess beloved scores on that one, Mason being on the top, followed by me and to Price and to you. On that, it's like your guys' movies tend to be like, okay, these movies that we like, but low key I know that like unintentionally. So Nathan's gonna hate this movie, or Price is gonna hate this movie,
Yeah.
and then me and Mason are like, yeah, we just really like this movie.
Yeah, we're pretty.
I
into
think
it.
there's some Freudian stuff going on in the subconscious that's just like he made me watch Lawnmower Man. I'm gonna
It's this weird ring of ladders.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
like it never ends.
right.
It's just constantly getting back at each other.
Has
with
to be
terrible
worse and
movie
worse.
choices.
I know.
Neat.
No, I mean, I feel like I definitely know I've picked movies that's like Price is not gonna like. This
Yeah.
movie. I know he's not gonna like this
So why
movie.
try? Yeah.
Teen dramas every time.
I
But
hate him.
I mean, it's not like ever been my goal.
No, yeah, I don't think it's ever been
feel like
intentional.
It's never been Price's goal.
But I think at this point we can go into a movie being like, he's gonna hate this one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes next season.
Yeah, next season.
Maybe we'll have and we've gone through most of my weird choices at this point. So
That's good.
Now we get into your which you didn't know were weird. And then you're like, blind picks.
Hail Mary.
Yeah.
Kobe.
Yep.
Alright.
Well, that was our statistical breakdown of 2019. That was an interesting little narrative there. You learn
I
a lot
like
from
that,
looking at stats. Yeah.
Yeah.
Going back in to our accolade, this is kind of like our award show in this way. Best gore leading up on this one.
Here we are.
Nathan, lead us away, buddy.
Well, the best use of gore, I think, is subjective in the fact that you can say,
Yep.
is it like visually the best, or does it do the best job of repulsing you?
Mm-hmm.
I went the side of it being utterly repulsive, and of course that's Raw.
Yep.
Raw turned my stomach. The idea of it turns my stomach. I wanted to turn it off,
Yeah.
and I didn't. I've said this many times. It did exceptionally well with the gore
With that
for
aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
for me,
Yikes.
that one far and away, I can't forget it.
Was there anything that would have maybe not even come close, but that you would have considered another one? Probably not.
Honorary
I didn't even
mentions.
really think about it.
That's how much it
Raw's
was.
so far ahead of the horses on
Yeah.
Nathan's pick. It's just like,
Ugh.
All right. Well, I was going to go with originally. I was going to go with Warrior, but then I thought about it, I was like, that's just violence. Like, it's not. There's not really any gore. Like, there's like bone breaking and stuff like that, but that's not gore.
Yeah.
So, along with those, the one that gore that really stuck out to me the most is like Silent Hill or Raw, and I hated Silent Hill's gore. I thought it was unnecessary. I did not like it.
Oh,
I
Raw.
kind of forget about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so
How do you forget about
I
that?
don't know, but
Bloody.
it's
It's
so
just-
unbelievably gratuitous. The girl having her skin just
ripped off and thrown
Yeah.
and then blood.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
The razor wire.
Yeah,
like
the razor wire.
But for some reason,
Going
that
up through
doesn't
our
hit me
hoo-ha?
the way Raw did.
Really?
Yeah.
Which is why I'm going along with that. I'm picking Raw as well because Raw, like it seemed like even though I didn't like the movie, like all the gore made sense for the movie, all the like awful like sounds and everything that came out just made sense for the world that was in. So
Yeah.
I'm going with Raw.
Yeah, I'm gonna mirror that. Honorable mention to Silent Hill. I think that it does gore really. I, on the other hand, love Silent Hill actually, and I think the gore serves all the purpose and all that over the top like fantasy aspects of it is great. But to nobody's surprise, it's Raw, and I can think of the specific scene where I was just like, I want to delete
Which
this
one?
movie. It is the waxing scene.
Yeah.
Oh god!
Something that's not even gory.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like-
Oh, that's
No,
awful.
But it does.
Oh.
Here's what its execution is. The gore scene. It's like you want to turn away so bad. You're like, this is awful. This is terrible. The skin's pulling. It's awful. But when she kicks her sister and then the finger is cut off.
Oh god!
A finger, honestly, a finger getting cut off in most movies, I don't even blink. Like I watched
Yeah.
Kill Bill recently, and I'm like, oh, they're
You
cutting.
could have sworn that
appendages
actually
off.
happened.
Yeah, no,
in this one.
you feel it because of so much of the tension that the waxing
Yeah.
part sets up, and I'm like immediately, like I not only did I know the movie, I knew the exact scene where I was like, too far,
Yep.
too much, this is too much.
Oh.
So a couple that I'm going to mention. Crimson Peak I thought did really well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Crimson Peak was like a weird, eerie kind of gothic gore. It
Honestly, don't
wasn't-
remember it.
Like there was like weird parts where they were like dripping blood. As there, anyways.
Well,
yeah.
all the ghosts.
Yeah, the
too,
ghosts were
Yeah.
creepy.
Yeah.
Sinister was another one, not because it was so bloody, but because of those films.
Mm.
You know, like the lawnmower part,
Or-
like that
yeah,
part.
just the implication
Exactly.
Right.
of the gore, because there wasn't really a lot of gore at
It-
all.
It was
Yeah.
It was more tell than show, but that was done in a really well
Oh,
way. Where like they didn't have to show it, and you're like, oh god,
Terrified me.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick Raw
Yeah.
because I think it was subtle enough with like not being Silent Hill or Sinister or some of these movies that were
Yeah.
made to just be high fructose corn syrup and red food dye.
Yeah.
I think it was packed in a rationable little bag.
I would agree. There are some scenes that are a lot more subtle than others that still do a great job being like, I'm comfortable in watching this. Yeah. To nobody's surprise, Raw sweeps the category.
Let's hope that's the last time it comes up.
It won't.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Nope. It's going to come up here again real soon, guys. Our next
Oh.
category coming up, Best Love Story.
There it is. Raw.
Let's go.
Raw.
Cannibalism.
Yep.
And I love for it.
Nobody's surprised. I know it is going to be
Yeah,
your name. Yep, definitely your name. I haven't watched too many love stories, honestly, but this one, I got really invested in it. At the end of it, when they were like seeing each other on the train and stuff, and then like they got up on the stairs and they're like fixing to see each other, but they don't say anything. I was like fixing to shake my screen and be like, talk to her.
That was
You don't know what's going on.
favorite scene. That one was almost like it
Because
was in the
there was so
criteria.
much like tension there,
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
it was so good. And the concept of telling a love story through a body swapping narrative, I don't think has like ever been done, and it's done so well that like it's
It's almost
awesome.
seamless.
I love it.
Mhm.
To nobody's surprise, your name. Yeah. A
Yeah,
lot of the same reasons. My big feeling on this one at the end of it was, all right, which couple did I feel the most chemistry with, but also was one where it's like, I'm going to be upset if they don't end up together by the end of this
I
movie.
will never watch another movie
Yeah.
if this doesn't happen.
Right. Like, the tension on this one, I was like, if you don't get them back together, I'm riding and burning Japan, baby. Like, that was my very initial thought, so yeah. Your name.
Cool. Mine is actually going to be Me and Earl and the Dying Girl.
I dig it.
I think it was good enough. I know it was based in high school, and it's almost a very unrealistic,
it is.
storyline. But so is Your Name. If you
No,
wanna-
it's not. Totally
Body
realistic.
swapping,
Yeah.
man.
Glad you walked straight into your own closet and locked the door behind you
Yeah.
from this end. But yeah, another honorable mention was Your Name. I think it was a good
Yeah.
love story. But I don't know. I like the way that Me and Earl and the Dying Girl was written.
That's fair.
It's a fair honorable mention on
Yep.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have the exact same opinion. For me, it is Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl. It has that very tragic kind of love story that I appreciate a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And Your Name is such a close mention.
Yeah.
And it's one of those ones that skirts with like, is this going to be tragic?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
would you have liked it more if it was tragic?
no.
No.
Yeah, if they just don't, and they're like, well, that was a good experience.
That would have been terrible.
Yeah.
They both end up with someone they both despise.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
No, like Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl is better for the tragedy
Right.
because then it has like all these like the whole post-death
The
where he's
squirrels.
like discovering the things about her and all
Yeah.
that. Like that was beautiful. Just like them finally getting together in Your Name was beautiful.
Yeah.
It would have been ugly if everything happened.
Yeah.
Honorable, one thing I want to add on really quick. Honorable mention to a very unorthodox love story. The brotherly love between, or not the brother, yeah, the kind of brotherly love at the
Warrior?
end of Warrior. Yeah,
Mm.
the way it kind of
That's a
wraps
good.
in.
That's a good pick.
Yeah.
That's a good honorable
I
mention.
thought you were going to say V for Vendetta with the guy with his love for
Oh, no,
society
yeah.
rising up or something.
Nah, honorable mention to Warrior because I think that
Yeah.
turns out to be a really interesting brother love story with it being.
I did think
unorthodox.
about
see that.
Vendetta too, though.
Yeah,
Like, it's-
Vendetta popped through my head, but
Yeah.
yeah. Next category, best antagonist. I think that's on me now, right?
Yes.
Yep, it's on you.
I think I'm gonna be the only one who picks this one, and that wouldn't be surprising at all. In Phone Booth, Keith Sutherland is the sniper in this one.
Okay.
It come honorable mention to Javier Bardem on
I dig it.
No
Yeah.
Country for
I really
for Old
thought you would
Man.
pick that one.
I came really close to that one because he's stellar in that one. But
Oh yeah.
for a movie where you're just a voice to be that menacing, to be that and to hold the whole film on that one, I think that he does more as a villain with that. He
And for
carries
only him to deliver it through a telephone.
right,
Like,
yeah, all
there's
the-
times where he's like screaming at the phone and you
Mhm.
can tell just because of his voice.
Yeah.
He never shows him besides at the ambulance.
Yeah, as a villain, just strictly a voice actor essentially on that. I think he also knocks out of the ballpark. I thought it was very magnetic. Anytime he's talking, I'm like, oh god, say more. Like I'm on the edge of my seat. Of it.
Speak to me.
Yeah, honorable mention to Javier Bardem as a villain on that one. He's absolutely great. But Phone Booth, man, Kiefer Sutherland crushes it for me.
Yeah. I actually couldn't remember who that was. I did think about him.
Yeah.
So mine is definitely going to go to Kung Fu Panda 2.
Boom, baby! He's back at the game.
Buckle up, because my honorable mention is Inglourious Bastards. That guy that I don't know what his name
oh,
is.
Hans
Landa?
Do you
Hans
just
Landa.
want to like talk about this together because like that's
It's the
exactly
same.
what I put.
Which one did you pick?
Shin
Okay.
from Kung Fu Panda 2.
Yeah.
You lead the way.
Yeah, so the Peacock, I said it as soon as I watched it. The movie was okay, like it was good. That villain was a psychopath like that. I don't know what side of the bed he got up on, but it was not the right one.
They did a great job animating him too. Like especially like the eye movements, like
For
like
the-
real quick and
yes.
like. Sorry. Go
Well,
ahead.
no,
This is your talk.
For a kids movie, I think it really grounded with like if adults were watching it, they would be like, God, he's sadistic.
Mhm.
You know, like it's kids probably not needing to watch him, but I think they delivered it really well. Yeah, and then that guy from Inglourious Bastards, he was a very close one. But yeah, definitely the Peacock.
Well, speaking of the guy from Inglourious Bastards,
Yeah.
Hans is my guy.
Hans is sick.
I loved every scene that he was in.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
always so like smartly menacing and tense.
Mhm.
That's a bingo.
He's a
Like,
cheerful
he
guy, but
was-
you're like,
He
oh.
was cheerful and funny,
Give
but
me
just had those snap moments of like, and the tables have turned.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I
Never knew when he
enjoyed
was gonna
that
snap.
in a villain. I thought that was really good.
Mhm.
And I love I get to talk about both of these again because I was gonna go with Hans Landa, of course, for the same reason that Nathan said. He's just so menacing, like, and he seems like he like has everything together. Like he knows everything, like what this person's gonna do, what they're gonna do. But then at the end, it really shows his very naive way of thinking that like, oh, they're gonna follow what their superior said and stuff. He doesn't think that like his guy's gonna get killed and carved into his forehead. But that's not what I'm picking. Gut instinct when I was looking through the list. Best antagonist is going to be Shin from Kung Fu Panda 2. I mean, Gary Oldman absolutely crushes the voice acting work on it. I mean, if we did best voice acting work, I would probably say him as well, that he did so well. He's menacing. He has a very good background, a very kind of believable kind of background that, like, I can kind of see why he's upset, but he shouldn't be this upset.
Yeah.
And-
He wanted to take over, like, China or wherever it was.
Yeah, and just like little scenes, like all the time, like at the end where like he's wanting to light the last cannon or whatever, like all their men are getting demolished by all the kung fu people. Then the one wolf is like, we'll hit our own men, and he's like, I don't care.
Doesn't matter.
Lights it, blows up everything, and then you have that very haunting scene at the end with all of them fixing to die, and then Poe does all that. So it's gonna be
really good villain.
Definitely.
Surprising list upon the villain.
It was.
Nobody picked No Country for Old Men. What's his face?
Javier
Well,
Bardem.
Yep.
yeah, I mean,
I was surprised.
he was very close. Like
Yeah.
he was number 2 to Hans for me.
Him and Hans are pretty close on my honorable mentions as well. Taking an interesting turn out from that point, getting off of memorable things. Let's get for our most forgettable movie of 2019.
It's on me.
That's on you.
Yeah, so this is actually a category that we had the least amount of time to think about, but I did not have to search for the list very much. It's between Birdcage and Third Star. I
Third Star.
genuinely dislike both movies. I would give it. Birdcage wasn't as bad, I guess, but Third Star is probably my pick because thinking back on it now, I know Benedict Cumberbatch is in it.
And we know it doesn't go so well for
And I
him.
know he doesn't live.
Yeah.
And that's about all I can really remember. So sorry to Annabeth and Jill. That was their movie that week. This guy was
Jill,
in
hey,
Japan.
Annabeth.
Yeah,
You
we know
gotta
you're
mention.
watching. I'm deeply sorry, but Third Star was utter trash. It was. I'm so
Utter
sorry.
trash.
Not only was it trash, it was forgettable trash. Mason, 2019.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Thanks to 2019, Coach.
Nathan, are you going to wash away the Third
Awful.
Star? Or
So bad.
Third Star for me was so to me forgettable is literally something that like I don't think much about.
Yes.
I've thought more about Third Star.
You remember really bad movies like that.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
Yeah, like Thanksgiving. I
and
remember more
again,
from
it's
that.
one of those movies where it's like it had a scene or two that were good scenes still.
Yeah.
Now a movie that I feel like
Debatable.
didn't really have good scenes or anything that I'm gonna ever think much about is Flipped.
You know what?
Flipped is the one that
Nice.
I just didn't.
Ouch. Okay. I feel that though. I get that.
Yeah.
Like it, we watched it, and it's over.
Yeah.
The only lines that I remember from it is the grandfather with the whole like some are like iridescent or whatever,
Yeah.
and
That's it.
yeah, that's about it.
It didn't help that it told the exact same story twice.
Yeah.
And a movie that's this long was actually this long, just told twice.
Narratively
Yeah,
speaking,
so I get
right.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That was going to be my pick. Flipped was going to be my pick, but I remember how much I disliked it, so that makes me remember more of it.
Yeah.
And I think the dad says the N-word at one point. Doesn't he say the N-word?
He-
Something terrible?
He
I thought he
does
said
say
something really
something-
offensive.
He does say something very offensive
He might
because, like, you definitely don't like the dad in the
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
Like, they're trying to get you.
I
To
really think
not
he said
like
the
him,
N-word.
but
I think we
don't
should go
think it
back and
was
look
that.
at some point.
Okay.
Just type it into YouTube.
Does the
All
dad and
caps.
Flip say, yeah, that's going to pull up something really weird. I doubt it's going to pull up the movie,
Yeah.
but
But
Yeah.
I'm going with, you all just talked about it earlier. Sounded like complete gibberish to me. I'm going with Crimson Peak. I look back. Apparently, I gave this movie a 7. I remember that Tom
It was
Hiddleston.
good.
I remember that Tom Hiddleston's in it. I remember there's a spooky house. I remember that he said the costuming and everything was amazing. I can't remember anything.
Huh.
I don't remember anything about that movie. You said something about ghost and a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
remember that.
blood.
Yeah.
They were creepy,
Oh,
like
yeah,
walking
yeah.
down the hall. Like it was
Yeah.
that old lady, I think.
I legitimately do not remember that
Yeah.
at all. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I've watched every movie, unlike these two who watch a lot of movies at work. I sit down and
I
watch
watch it at
every
work.
movie.
I watch it. You're looking at these two.
Oh, then not
He
him.
couldn't.
He doesn't watch it at work. He watches it at home and does laundry.
15,000
Oh, yeah, he does
steps
laundry.
in a day.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely Crimson Peak for me. I looked through everything else. I was thinking about Fifth Element too, but I do remember like Bruce Willis, like fantasy, driving in a car, stuff like that. So yeah, definitely Crimson Peak.
Mine's hands down Flipped. I'm on the same page as Nathan on this one.
I totally get that though. Like it makes sense.
It really is. It's a very
Yeah.
forgettable movie. And it's not, again, I think I rated it very in the middle, but I think that's exactly its problem. It's very in the middle. It doesn't do anything exceptionally well. It doesn't do anything particularly bad. It's just, it's all flatline there.
Yeah.
There's no tension. There's no beat. There's not like, oh, this is memorable. Like, it just did a very average, but good story, but average is forgettable.
So I'm gonna let you guys, like, while I'm in the hole that's been dug out, I'm gonna let you guys go ahead and get some dirt to throw in. We actually had a category that we cut for a movie that you would like to see a sequel for. Flipped was mine.
What? Oh,
Think about it. It doesn't end with anything. It ends with them.
Then why would you want to see more of it?
Domestic violence where he's beating her from both angles.
See an actual story.
Nah.
Two different
We're getting out off
Anyways,
track.
yeah.
Bring us back in,
They
Dylan.
go beat me in the head with a shovel.
All right.
Bring us back in.
All right.
So, and Flip will not be this one, but we're going to our next category. So while things are forgettable, there are some things that we love and cherish. What was everybody's favorite world? And we are starting with Mr. Nathan.
Mad Max!
Yeah.
I love that world.
Yeah.
I love every movie. I've played the games. Favorite
It
world.
is a good
I think
world.
it's amazing.
Post-apocalyptic.
I love post-apocalypses. I love dystopian futures. It's one of my all-time favorites. So, yeah,
Would
Mad
you
Max.
would you have picked it if we initially went with like world you'd want to live in the most?
No.
Okay,
just curious.
Like,
That's
not
not the that's not the
realistically, want to
category.
live in
But
that
favorite world. I
But if
totally
you
get it.
gotta live in a dystopia, that's not a bad one.
true.
Like, yeah, it's
Waterworld, I can't
very
swim well.
violent.
I
but-
can't. Yeah, I'd sink and die. Right.
Oh, I would so die too.
Yeah.
My favorite world. I thought this would be a slam dunk for about everybody here. Spirited Away. I love that world. Like the fantasy kind of world,
Yeah.
not the like kind of darker side where like her parents get turned into the pigs and stuff like that. But definitely like I love the whole like fantastic landscape there.
Yeah.
That you like everybody seems like really friendly with each other except of course like the bad witch lady at first. But then everybody winds up getting along, and that's the world like I'd want to be a part of. Like that initial shot where like it turns the night or whatever, and like it just throws you into the world, and
Yeah.
like she has no idea what's going on, you have no idea what's going on, but like everything is really neat.
Yeah.
And she's
Love
running
that.
around trying to figure out the
Yeah,
answers,
It's this
yeah.
feudal Japan spirit world that's pretty sweet. Like, and I'll chime in and say honorable mention, Spirited Away. 100%. I thought that was gonna be number one for a minute, but then I was sitting there thinking, and I'm like, everybody still lives like their day job lives and still does some things. It's very it's a very constructed, real, grounded world that just happens to be very spiritual and factual, which is beautiful and great. That's why it's an honorable mention. And you guys are thinking I'm gonna bullshit you with this one, but I swear up and down, this is my favorite world.
I'm ready to yell.
Excalibur. Ah! It's a D&D world. It is the Knights of the Round. It is dragons. There's wizards. There's
Wow.
all this weird, crazy, awesome
Wow,
stuff.
okay.
I love that.
There's
stuff.
like body shape shifting and stuff like.
There's all sorts of sweet stuff in this. And here's the thing.
Oh my god.
I think a hard thing you have to keep in mind as well is like I think sometimes you have to imagine would I live in this world. I'm like, I absolutely would live in this world, man. There's fucking wizards and
playing
knights
the
and stuff.
bard's role.
Bro, even playing the bard is sweet on that. You know how easy it is to make stories in that world?
You get one cut and you get like an infection and die.
Medieval details, whatever.
Yeah.
So
You live to like 30.
details. Those are sweet 30 years.
I mean, Lancelot got like stabbed in
Yeah.
the stomach.
I don't
with
know,
a
a couple
sword
of them
and he
do
still lived.
Pretty okay.
You
So
get to
you
see
can live.
a woman underneath the surface of water.
yeah,
Just
listen.
bring a sword
There's so
back.
much. There's so mythos and lore to this world. It's one of those
Grab
things. I could leave medieval England and probably end up somewhere else and still be like, and it's a world where dragons and wizards and knights and all these sweet stuff exist. This one's fucking sweet.
You have that one. I'll take the Monty Python world, the Holy Grail world. You take that. I'll take that. I'll have the funny Frenchman on the castle.
You'll
Yeah.
carry coconuts everywhere that you go.
Yeah. Hard pass. Excalibur. You didn't ever think it was going to be on any of these lists. It's here.
I'm glad.
amazed.
I'm
Yeah.
glad it came up, but
So-
I'm glad it's on you and not me. So I had three. So okay, $1 billion movie. I really enjoyed the mall. Like the mall is the world.
The ball was pretty.
The mall was hilarious. It
With
was
the
good.
used toilet paper shop.
The mall was fantastic, and the werewolf in the pizza shop.
It's been my favorite in my family for
That
generations.
does not win.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish
The
it did.
Greatest Showman is another world that I wouldn't mind living in.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But all in all,
Anything you want to happen, just sing a song.
honestly, and
Yeah.
it's like British, like 1960s or like 1930s probably.
Yeah.
1930s.
Industrial still. Yeah.
Favorite world is Moonrise Kingdom. I think
Ah,
everything about that.
I
Oh.
dig
That
that.
island was
Okay.
perfect. The colors, almost pastels. Just I don't know.
Yeah.
I
see that for you a lot.
ish.
It was pretentious, but I get it.
Yeah, I understand. Sorry for picking my own, but yeah, that world, I fell in love with it.
Nathan's. To everybody's surprise, Excalibur won an award.
We need like a turd trophy.
You're right.
We would put it right here. For
Oh,
you.
wait,
or give it to him.
Speaking of turd trophies,
Now, I was going to say, transition to, you never thought Excalibur would be on this list? Oh, it's going to be on the list.
Oh, boy.
Right now, with my pick for least liked movie,
Right.
I'm going with Excalibur.
You can pick two if you want. Least favorite and
No,
best.
Yeah,
I'm kind of
relatively the same thing.
I'm kind of combining those because if I went with like least liked movie, I would have a really hard time picking between Repo and Excalibur. But adding on the fact that fattest movie is like included on this, Excalibur wins by heaps and folds and fat easily. I hated this movie. It was such a long movie. That's the thing I detest the most about it, is that it's so long and does nothing. And it tells too many stories. None of them work. Everything's terrible about it. It's so long. If we were going to do most regrettable score, I wanted to give this one lower. After thinking about it even more, I want to give it lower than 1.5. I hate this movie. At least Repo is like, oh, it's only here for like an hour, 15, hour 30.
Yeah.
It's not too bad. Excalibur's just here forever. They thought they were doing an epic. In fact, they were just doing a big pile of poopy. That's it. So yes, Excalibur, least liked movie.
Yeah, that's gonna shock you guys. Mine's Foxcatcher, hands down.
Oh, you should have asked us. We could have answered that one for you.
Oh boy, Foxcatcher, least liked, fattest movie. Here's the thing: I cut all of this movie. This movie is stupid. I've never had a thought in my entire life where I watched a movie and I said, "Why was this made?" Like, I wondered whose idea was Foxcatcher and why did they think it was a good idea? Who gave this movie money? This movie.
Who paid Steve Carell? Who convinced Steve Carell and
Channing
Tatum and Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
There is no reason for this movie to be as bad as it is. With a cast that good, for this movie to be that bad, burn this movie to the ground. Burn the studio to the ground that approved it, and burn anybody who ever got an award from it. Sorry, Ruffalo, get a new actor. We're gonna get Tim or Ed Horton back to do the Hulk.
He just couldn't understand what they were doing.
I can't understand why the movie was made. I can't understand why the actors would sign on and do such a piss poor job of doing all of this. This is a bad movie. It's a fat movie because I would cut everything. Go, Mason.
So I do have two different answers, since I do think that a least liked movie is different from a fattest movie. A fattest movie is implying that like it can be good. It's salvageable. It is. You can cut some. It might be a lot. It will be a lot. It's Excalibur on the fattest movie. Movie could be great. Movie could catch my attention in English class or history class, whatever you want to say. Probably more English. But it is so fat, too fat. I was with him. It's way too long. Least liked movie. I've already given 3rd star an award, so I'm going to move down my list. It's gonna be Holy Grail.
You did not like that movie. I totally see that one.
And they're basically the same movie.
Yep.
So I'm not completely crossing off that one.
I hated that movie.
Honorable mention if I liked Excalibur more, and that says something about it.
Oh wow.
I'm there with that. Excalibur. There's hope for Excalibur.
There's a shining light in Excalibur.
You gotta really sort through the
shining
mess.
light is reflecting off of Merlin's skull cap.
Or off of that shiny armor that Lancelot had. That shit was shiny.
That armor
Yes,
was sweet.
Well, you mentioned the two that I'm gonna bring up. Excalibur and Monty Python. I had watched Monty Python whenever I was younger. Found it funny. It was one of those like well tread upon joke humor movies. On rewatching, it was really fat. Excalibur also really fat. I don't know between the two which one I would say was the worst for being the fattest movie. I wouldn't say that either of them are my least liked. To me, this category, I'm looking mostly just at which ones had too much.
Yeah.
And both of them were very much.
Excalibur's like an hour longer than Monty Python. But...
Yeah, well, Monty Python. All right. The dude writing at his desk, and then there being knocking, and it's just him walking downstairs.
That was awful.
Downstairs.
I'm with you on that one. I'm with you on that one.
That
part was
wasn't
terrible.
the only time that happened. Like, there were a lot of... Every one of those cartoon scenes should have not been in that movie. Yeah. Like, that was not funny. It was not worth being there. I hated them.
They just waste budget.
Excalibur had too much material, and they pumped it all in. Monty Python, I know that they were trying to be funny, but they didn't have the right material, or like they didn't have as much. Right. Not even a fraction, I didn't think.
Well, they didn't even have enough budget too.
They didn't have enough money
and
to get those facts in there.
Yeah, to chain even off that, I think to argue a point, like with Holy Grail, I can sit here and say there's a couple of scenes that I like that are just really the jokes, and I'm like, I could just have those and then cut the rest.
You get the audiobook for that.
Right.
So which one's your least liked?
Yep.
Remember, we can't
like my least liked.
Yep.
So, I mean, if we're talking least liked movie, it's still Raw.
Ah, there it is.
Raw still comes back to grab that crown. No problem. It has that one easy.
Yeah.
You even
It's
mentioned
a
that
runaway.
movie, and I'm not,
I think we all
not
honorably
happy.
mentioned Raw in our least.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even think I could have picked Sinister for that one.
At least liked or
Yeah.
At least Sinister's like, even if you don't like it, you have to admit it's a good movie, and then it's
Yeah, but
like
that's
that.
this is
gave it
saying
like a
this is saying
6.
least like.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
And I did not like what I saw.
Oh, okay.
It was
Gotcha.
terrifying.
All right.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm still sticking with Excalibur. I like viscerally hate that movie.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So wrapping up this 2019 roundup, I guess is what we're going to be calling it. We're going into our very last movie, which is a movie that someone didn't like that you thought they would. So you pick this movie going in, you're like, oh, Nathan's going to love this movie. 10 out of 10. He's going to be blown away by it. 100%. Mine going in?
Yeah, I think it's you.
Spirited Away.
For who?
For Mason. I thought for sure that I was like, Mason was very anti like animated movies and stuff like that, but I'm like, Spirited Away is one of those ones that just, for me, really transcends the genre, does a really great, masterful job. I actually only got Nathan on disguise on this one.
You really did.
Aiming for Mason, I shot
You
Nathan.
had a shotgun instead of a rifle.
Yeah, whoops, the spread went wide.
Got him with the spread.
I for sure
Yeah.
thought going in that Spirited Away would be one of those ones I'm like, no, Mason, you're going to see the light now. And he didn't see the light, but he did.
Might have
come
saw
out-
more
He
darkness.
ended up finding his own light.
Yeah,
Which-
did.
it's
Well, I
true.
think Penguin Highway was before
No.
your name, wasn't it?
No.
Was it after?
No, yeah, it was.
It was
after.
for your name, but
It-
not Spirited Away.
yeah, Spirited
No,
Away
I'm
was.
saying because I remember
Spirited
Penguin
Away,
Penguin
Penguin,
Highway was
your
where
name.
you were like, maybe.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
started
it's
to get
a
on
good
the fence.
transition.
Right.
Yeah.
You got Spirited Away and then Penguin Highway. And
Yeah,
then,
I'm very
Your Day.
surprised with that because to my mind, Spirited Away is definitely better than Penguin Highway.
I think
100%.
Yeah.
me
100%.
not having
But
watched
it's his-
any anime, the only way I could defend that is just Spirited Away. I know that you mentioned the world and how like fantasy and everything like that. It was overwhelming of just
There's a
every
lot.
ounce that they pumped into it. and I was just
Yeah.
like, okay, so this girl really just needs to cross that little bridge and she'll be back to normal. But like she just couldn't.
Yeah.
I can't remember enough of it now, but I wanted to like it. And I think Penguin
But you did.
Highway was another,
It was a step
a
in the
good
right
stepping
direction.
stone, and then your name, and we'll be watching more this week. So
Yeah.
If you don't like Kiki's, I'll be very surprised.
I don't know. We'll see.
I actually
The
don't see
Cat
him liking
Returns.
Kiki.
Sorry, that was
Really?
another
I
one.
see him liking Mononoke. I don't see him liking Kiki though.
Hmm.
But without further ado,
We got
Mason.
Cat Returns too.
I was thinking about doing that one for my favorite world. I was thinking about it because it's just so adorable.
Just cats.
But it is like kind of nefarious too.
If it was the dog
Yeah.
return, you might have won me on that
But
one.
the
It's kind of
record,
nefarious that you feel like you can easily outsmart.
Yeah.
for the record, the favorite dystopian world, I picked Cat Returns. that world is fucking awesome.
That's pretty sweet.
I don't like cats.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Basically sneezing the
Yeah.
whole time.
I would. God, I couldn't survive. Movies that I picked that I thought that people would like as a whole. I'm gonna say Raw. For Nathan mainly, I really thought Dylan would like it. I knew that Price wasn't big on gore /
He doesn't like
scary stuff, but I was like, this should acclimate everyone.
And we all come
Little
back
did
crying
I know.
and yelling.
the penalty that I did to myself when I chose this movie. I could have sworn I was going to get some good feedback. This was after Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. This was after Prisoners.
He's
The
on a hot
first
run
2
right
weeks.
there.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Prisoner.
So I
Hot.
chose. This was my third one. I was like, this is going to really decide everything.
This is gonna
If I can
cement me
get
to be the
this,
host.
I'm gonna have the whole genres figured out, and it blew up in my face. Honorable mention was Flipped. That's actually kind of funny that you both did that earlier because I was
Yeah.
going to say the same thing. I really thought that Flipped was going to be the
One that we
good
were like,
one,
oh,
but
yeah, we're
it
on.
didn't happen for me. So
Yeah.
So with a lot of my picks, I kind of knew as I threw them out there
You
that
did.
they weren't
Yeah.
going to be that spectacular. So as far as unexpected reception, I guess one was definitely Interview with a Vampire. I figured that one was going to be pretty solid for the most part. I even thought Price would like it pretty well. But as we've heard, he did
not
not
like
much
that.
care for that movie.
yeah,
As far as just generally unexpected, like not even that it was going to be, like I expected it to not be liked, and it was
Kind of the
like more
reverse
than
on it,
expected. Repo's an honorable
Repo has to
mention,
be. Yeah.
but being John Malkovich, I'm surprised at how much Price liked that. Like I
Wow.
did not think that I was throwing it out, and it would be as well received as it was by price in particular.
By price
Yeah.
because of that stat sheet that we just covered earlier.
Yep.
I liked it a lot. I mean, I wasn't like trolling or anything like that. I watched it with Mason. Like I enjoyed that movie.
Yeah.
I thoroughly did.
So yeah, that to me was the most unexpected for
Uh-huh.
sure, because I didn't see that, and that was kind of cool because
Yeah.
very rarely do
You
I
got to
throw
see-
something out there
see
and
the other
price
side of the tracks.
Yeah, that's my
Yeah.
favorite
Yeah.
of the ones you've picked.
So I tried. I mean, I guess this will be a good one to end on. I tried like looking for like an honorable mention. There was one I had in mind the whole time I was doing this. I was like, I don't want to talk about this one. It's been redone so many times. But I was like, I'm looking through my list trying to find like honorable mentions anywhere. I just looked again. And all my movies, like I pegged them right. Like I knew like this person wouldn't like this. I knew this person would like that. If I pick like this kind of weird animated movie, it's going to be kind of middle of the road.
Foxcatcher.
I mean, I was not expecting that, especially from Dylan. Mason, I could kind of see because I already know Mason likes this like kind of fantastical, kind of like almost better look at the world than what the world is really like, and I really like more
And this
grounded.
is in Pennsylvania.
I almost like the more like pessimistic, like how I really think the world is. And Mason's like really up here, I'm down here. I knew he wouldn't really like it. Nathan, I had no idea what was going to happen. Him, I thought he would enjoy it. It's a sports movie. It's got good people in it. It's got good dialogue. As you heard earlier, there's no need of rehashing this. We've done it a million times. He hated that
Cut the movie in half. Cut the movie in fourths. Mail it to Mark
I'm the one that
Ruffalo.
gave
Into
you,
the
like,
fire.
the best review on that one.
I think
too.
so.
Like,
Yeah.
I was the only one that actually found it to be a redeemable movie.
You can, and I think that we could probably tell this going back, looking at the stats to verify this. It's the movie that the person that we usually rate the lowest that we rated actually really well. That was like, oh man, that script got flipped. Because like for Bryce and Nathan, they usually notoriously rate theirs badly, but
being John Malkovich,
Yeah.
the Foxcatcher.
right.
Yeah.
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 So that's not a surprise that the least surprising probably would come from those two scores on that one. God, Malkovich.
All right, well, that kind of wraps that up.
Yeah.
Is there any kind of like wrap up kind of stuff you want to talk about? I mean, there's some stuff I'd kind of like to.
A lot
Talk
of
about.
the times through the years, through the
years.
weeks.
The-
Sorry,
yeah.
this is post dated.
Yeah.
We like to do like the double features. We like to do some of that. Do you guys have any ideas for this year coming up for this new season?
Like any,
Oh, I haven't thought
anything
about
that we
anything.
wanna-
Oh,
Yeah,
special
we did
events or
spooky
anything like
season.
that.
We did
Yeah.
double features.
Yeah.
That's about all we
I
did
haven't
so
even
far.
thought about that yet.
Yeah. The only thing really relevantly coming up, I guess, would be seasonal, would be like rom-coms or something like that for February, and I don't want to do that.
I don't either.
Those are all pretty.
we could do Disney movies as like a.
Ooh, just pick a random category. Disney taking over the world. Disney 4.
Yeah.
I actually really like that one because there's
As long as it's
But I'll
not-
save
I
it,
think
but-
we'd have to say like
like
the real Disney,
Yeah.
not the expanded Marvel,
Disney animated or
world.
Disney Disney brand. Like
And another one could maybe even be superheroes, like as far as and even there branching away from your Marvel
Yeah.
cinematic universe, because you could have what was that one that Will Smith did?
Hancock.
Hancock.
Yeah.
Like those
That's a
kind of
good-
yeah, do the
oddball
one-off ones, the
superheroes.
ones from like not Marvel or DC,
Yeah.
but maybe like a Vertigo Studio or something like
That's
that.
something we can talk about off camera.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll talk
figure
more
something
about
out.
That's something for
we
you guys
got
to get
things.
enticed
Yeah,
on.
we got things going.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, before we end, I was kind of want to like do like kind of general talk about stuff because I was wanting to say like besides I've hated his movies the most. He's got nothing redeemable from me. Dylan's picked some movies that like I already knew, like Spirited Away, like I knew I was really gonna like.
Mhm.
But Mason, like he started off with teenage like romance
Rom-coms,
movies,
yeah.
rom-coms. I don't care. Yeah, romance. Yeah, comedy. Yeah, Me or on the Dying Girl.
Yeah.
Filled with comedy, especially there at
That
the
movie
end.
was hilarious.
It's a funny movie.
And
That movie was awesome.
Dark
and
comedy.
I hate his like all that kind of stuff, like how like the movies are picked and stuff. But like my two favorite movies, I think that like I did not know about before we went into this year that I love is obviously Your Name and Prisoners. Like came from him for some reason,
Yeah.
and I would not have expected that at all based on like everything else that he's picked. But
Yeah,
sometimes
not at
like
all.
he picks these like really good movies that like I just latch onto and love. Like I've recommended Prisoners for people to watch. I've made people watch Your Name.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah, Your Name was a funny one because I kept thinking, I was like, did Price pick that movie or did Mason pick that? Like that was like kind of the blank on it because I was like, why would Why would Mason pick an animated Japanese film after watching Spirited Away?
So
coming
he
up?
Yes.
didn't even.
That's what I was gonna say. We can't give him too much credit.
Yeah.
We're
I
not
had
giving him
watched
credit.
it. I watched it.
So
You
you
watched
had
it.
watched it
You
before
did? You watched it
came
before?
in.
Oh, I thought
I
he
watched
Yeah, he
it.
said he
So
watched it.
I had picked The Mist that week,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
or that day.
Yeah.
You did.
Then
And I watched it.
I went
What a
home.
switch!
I went home and I had Your Name downloaded because a friend of mine at work were begging me to watch it. Had been telling me for months to watch it. So I finally had enough time. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to watch it. Within about 5 hours after I had suggested The Mist, I had texted the group saying, hey guys, I'm switching it. It's Your Name.
Yeah.
Nathan did not get that message quite in time, I don't think. But yeah, so I had watched it. But it
Nathan's
was
never been proactive ever again about
He's
the
done.
movie either.
He's done this. We have a
2
Snapchat
or
group of
3.
us to do this, and he misses a lot of these sometimes. Like there was one week, like during the beginning, where we did not know what was going on, and I originally was going to pick Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
watched
Like
that too.
I pitched it. And
Still
I was
haven't
like,
seen it.
And I was like,
It's a
I
great
wanna
movie.
Like I want
It
to
should
pick
be a pick
this.
It
sometime.
really should.
And
Maybe I'll pick it.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, and he just jumps the ball and like watches it. And we're like, why did you watch that? We didn't pick that. And then he's watched too many movies. More movies than any of us.
I got an idea for next year. Here's my bold 2020 move.
Okay.
We throughout the year, it doesn't have to be all in one same month. Throughout the year, that we all get one movie that's currently in theaters that we all go watch in theaters.
I was thinking about that too. I think
Yeah.
that could be an interesting.
So basically
thing to
force
do.
the hand, be like, all right, you 3 are going to watch Bad Boys 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah! I hope that's Mason's pick. Bad Boys
Well,
3.
that's how we get ourselves topical and trending, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's got to be free.
I mean, I've got a good one that's coming out January 16th. Mason and I are already going to see it.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd be up for that.
yeah.
Yeah, if I'm watching
Weathering
Weathering
with
We're gonna
you.
watch Your Name in there too. So.
Yeah.
So I will say, we can hash this out a little bit later, but
Yeah.
I would think this is one where we don't do it all in 1 month.
No, definitely not 1 month.
But
I think
we
it's
say that
we-
everybody gets one this year.
one throughout the year. We're like,
Yeah.
we get one movie, we're all going to go watch. This
Oh, that's
movie.
it?
Yeah.
Also, like that would be my pick.
And they could
Yeah.
stack.
Oh, that's fine. I
I
would
think
say
they could
that.
stack because movies are only in
All right.
theaters for
Now, granted,
5
this is
weeks.
going to be a very schedule pending one, and the problem
Oh,
with Weathering
heck
with you is
yeah.
that it's like there for 1 or 2 days.
Oh, it's only
maybe.
2 days.
Yeah, it's 2 days. So if
Yeah.
you're able to make that one, great. But we also probably don't want to pick that one as that because it's,
It's-
shit. I'm busy during these days. I can't go. Like that's a
Well,
possibility.
it's hard.
Well, we'll figure out the details. But anyway, that's our 2019 wrap up. Tell us below in the comments what you guys think we should be throwing in there. What are some random categories? Maybe you have some movies you want to suggest. Our lists are getting lower as we've been watching movies non-stop. Make sure to check out our double feature months coming up here soon. They'll be uploaded somewhere between this movie and whoever knows, wherever all the uploads. They'll get there as they get there. Everybody have a great 2019. Hope everybody has a great 2020 coming in. And we will catch you all next year.
Happy New Year.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Good enough.
Good enough.